Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Mystery Writer speaking, and welcome to the show. It's been a while since I've done one of these longer format videos, and I do apologize for that, but
Let me be clear.
I've been busy with work and attending the Atlanta Comic Con.
Among other things.
Strangely, however, it's been a while since I've done a movie review, but that's simply because there hasn't really been any movies in theaters or on streaming that have really piqued my interest. Let me tell you, this time last year, in 2023, I had already seen a movie 2 or 3 times in theaters, starting with Megan. However, I'm excited to announce that things are about to change. This week, I'll watch and review the latest Shudder original, Stopmotion. I came across the trailer for this new horror movie during my break at work when the trailer popped up on my YouTube recommendations about a month ago. I watched it and was
Immediately impressed.
I have been longing for more horror-related content in animation, and the idea of an indie animator working on a new short stop-motion film that begins to break down her sense of reality after the loss of her overbearing mother was so captivating. The stop-motion figures used in the movie remind me of Phil Tippett's Mad God, which was one of the best movies of 2022. I thought I would have to wait months to see this movie, but to my surprise,
It's already in theaters this week!
sure, it's only playing in one theater within an hour's drive from where I live, but hey, it's worth it. Plus, the film has received positive feedback from critics and audiences alike, which means it has excellent potential. I will watch the movie and share my honest opinion, just like I did with my Thanksgiving at Five Nights at Freddy's reviews. Now, I'm off to watch Stop Motion! Thanks to the power of editing, I'll be back in about 3 seconds! Whee!
Okay.
I was originally planning on doing some sort of little spooky bit in where I appear in stop motion or whatever, but after watching this movie, wow. I'm not gonna lie, that was one of the scariest movies I have seen in years. What is this story about? It is about a young animator named Ella. She lives with her overbearing mother, who was a renowned director and producer of stop motion films, but because of her old age and arthritis in her hands, she relies on Ella on basically everything. Everything from giving her constant directions while making new films and cutting up her steak. But after she suffers a stroke and ends up in a coma, Ella begins a downward spiral into
Utter insanity.
and where she dreams up a new short film that she can make under the directions of this mysterious little girl, which turns out to be nothing more than a figment of her imagination. You know, kind of like in A Beautiful Mind.
Except creepier?
I mean, sure, I kind of saw this coming a mile away, but that's beyond the point. So the people around her try to help her out while she's making a new film about this girl that is a puppet made out of raw meat and mortician's wax for skin, being chased in the woods and ends up hiding in a bungalow from this entity known as the Ash Man, which is a puppet made out of a dead fox
The flesh and fur of a dead fox!
and, again, mortician's wax.
For the skin.
While Ella is trying to film the movie and animate it, she blacks out and experiences hallucinations, and where she loses all identity, becomes a puppet herself, and is constantly hunted by the Ash Man. In the end, after her mother dies after being in a coma for who knows how long, she loses all sense of reality, and under the direction of the little girl, which is a figment of her imagination, she kills her boyfriend and his sister and turns their flesh into puppets in order to finish her film before ultimately bleeding to death herself after she removes the stitches from this wound in her leg and then pulls something out of it. She films her own death while she's
Bleeding on the floor?
and the little girl gives her approval. I love it. As Ella in this dreamscape, decides to go into the box.
Like a good little puppet.
So, what did I think of this movie? Again, it's one of the scariest movies in years. Its use of body horror, gross out horror, and psychological imagery was astounding. The blend of stop motion and live action was seamless. The descent into madness was a journey to experience. Plus, Ella is a surprisingly relatable character. I say that very cautiously, because as an artist myself, I have struggled with finding new ideas and expressing myself, because I have often felt like I'm a puppet of someone else.
I am the hands
Of someone else. And people know this, people take advantage of that. They take advantage of me being nice to them, legitimately wanting to help, and yet they take advantage of it for their own benefit. Ella feels the same way. She wants to help her mother, but she's overbearing, she's overly critical. Even from the start, you know Ella is not off to a great start. You have a few screws loose. But it's after her mother had the stroke that she begins her descent into
madness and murder.
The psychological horror in this movie was top notch. The acting was superb, and the story is original enough to be intriguing. Now, is this a flawless movie? No, it's not.
As I previously stated,
The fact that the little girl is a figment of Ella's imagination was a plot twist I saw coming. Not to mention the movie is surprisingly slow. I mean, sure, it's a slow burn, psychological horror, but it does pick up in the last 15-20 minutes with so much bizarre imagery and murder and death, and
oh my gosh,
it's one of those movies that makes you look away in utter horror.
it is that freaking shocking.
Also, I kind of wish they would explain why Ella has Mortician's wax to begin with. Is that like a stop motion thing? It prevents animators from getting fingerprints on the puppets or something?
What's the deal with that?
Why does she have Mortician's wax? Or is it just some sort of nervous habit? I don't really know. Can someone in the comments please explain to me that? Why does a stop motion animator have Mortician's wax? Is that common? Or is that just another thing of Ella being crazy? I don't really know. Yeah, I kind of wish they explained that detail. Not to mention, I kind of wish that in the end, there was a scene in where the authorities stumbled upon the absolute flat of horror that happened in this apartment building, flat, whatever you want to call it. But again, that's just kind of a nitpick. These are very minor nitpicks, and they really don't take away from the overall experience all that much. I'm okay with giving this movie a 4.9 out of 5.
Near perfect.
Well, that's all the time I have for today. This has been the Mystery Writer speaking, and until next time, don't let your art consume you. Otherwise, you may end up filming your own death and turning your loved ones into puppets. Okay, bye!